All right, so two topics for tonight. Uh, First topic, Iran and Israel. So I saw a clip online on X this morning from Disclosed TV. It was a 1 minute clip of Trump talking to the press, and Mr. Trump, President Trump, was very upset, and rightfully so. Both parties, both Israel and Iran, broke the ceasefire. Apparently, Iran fired one rocket, it didn't land, nobody got hurt. And Israel responded with, and I quote from President Trump, they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I have never seen before. And apparently, Israel dropped those bombs, and it was going to be 12 hours, and then the ceasefire was going to take place. First hour before, that means there was 11 more hours before the ceasefire was going to take place. Israel bombed, and Israel bombed an unprecedented amount of bombs. So I don't know who fired first. It doesn't really matter who fired first. The fact of the matter is that America showed up for Israel. They bombed Iran's nuclear facilities basically at the behest of Israel. And after that, the Americans under Trump brokered a peace agreement, a ceasefire between the two parties, and immediately Israel betrayed America. And Israel's often touted as America's greatest ally. With friends like that, who needs enemies? And it's a very sad situation. And let's read the rest of the quote from President Trump. He goes on. We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the F they are doing. And I have never seen President Trump lose his cool or lose his composure, and certainly not curse, and certainly not use an F-bomb right to the media. It was evident to me that President Trump felt personally betrayed, because he, and for all intents and purposes, he was personally betrayed. I don't know how else you could frame that, because he showed up, he left the G7, he was in Canada for the G7 meetings I think it was in Alberta, and he left early, clearly to go deal with the Israel situation. Then the bombings of the Iranian nuclear facilities happened thereafter, and then immediately Israel betrayed America and betrayed President Trump. And it's very, very sad, because Israel has isolated itself from the rest of the international community, and they had basically one really good friend, a very powerful friend in America, and they basically enlisted this one friend in their help to help them, and then immediately betrayed President Trump for no apparent reason. Because even if Iran attacked first, they could have been the bigger party. They could have been the bigger man in the room, and they could have let it go, because nobody got hurt, and it's an unfortunate situation. But instead, they immediately betrayed one of their last friends in the world, and I just don't understand it. And apparently, President Trump doesn't seem to understand it either, because he obviously lost his cool when he was speaking to the media, and I don't think he was taking it out on the media. I don't think he was upset with the media there. He was clearly upset with Israel, and rightfully so. So moving forward, we will see how the situation plays out, and hopefully the ceasefire sticks, and hopefully things get better in the region. But we will see how the situation unfolds as it unfolds. The next topic is another post from X, and I'm just going to cite here. This is from a Dr. Malouf. This is Malouf. I'm going to quote directly from their post on X. You can go ahead and look them up on X if you're interested. Absolute chaos at Paris Street Music Festival. 371 arrests, 6 stabbed, 1,500 injured, 13 police officers attacked, 51 vehicles set on fire, and most shocking, 145 girls injected with syringes with an unknown substance. What the hell is happening in France? That's the thing. You know, was it not France? I'm pretty sure it was France. it was a month or two ago, where there was a soccer game and somebody won, somebody lost. It's a game. And then there was riots in the streets of France. And I remember seeing a video, I'm pretty sure it was France. I remember seeing a video about this, and there was two young women, I don't know, presumably French women, who were trying to drive through a crowd of rioters after a soccer game, and were obviously terrified because there seemed to be hundreds or thousands of what appeared to be immigrants rioting or partying or whatever it was they were doing in the streets, and they seemed terrified. And here's the thing. It's a very sad state of affairs that what Europe has been going through in the last few years, as far as the failed immigration policy that is happening in countries like France and so on and so forth. But let's talk about the 145 girls who were injected with syringes at a music festival. You know, when the Muslim migrant situation was unfolding in Sweden, and Swedish girls were getting raped, and this was during the 2016 era. And also, conversely, all the Muslim grooming gangs that have been going on in England, and this has been going on for quite some time now. And, you know, Tommy Robinson on the right has been talking about this for some time now. You know, it's interesting that you don't hear anything from the feminist camp. You know, with the Muslim grooming gangs, with girls getting raped in England and girls getting raped in Sweden, you don't hear anything from feminists. You don't hear anything from feminists. But what you did hear during those eras was feminists or leftists, generally speaking about Islamophobia. It's speaking about Islamophobia as if that's the pertinent subject when girls are getting raped. But at any rate, I digress. Back to this subject. I would be interested to hear somebody from the feminist camp what their take is on 145 girls injected with syringes with an unknown substance. Even if it was one girl injected with a syringe with an unknown substance, you would think that the American, and I shouldn't say the American, you would think that the Western leftist feminist camp would take issue with that. So I'd be interested to hear how this story develops. And honestly, you know, you would think that there'd be more compassion. You often, I mean, the leftist camp often touts itself as the compassionate camp, and I'd love to see some compassion in this situation, because there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of genuine care for human beings in these situations. But at any rate, I think that's all I have for this evening. And so we will see how this situation unfolds with Israel and Iran. And God willing, there will be peace, and the ceasefire will stick. And we will see how the situation happens in France. And it's just a very sad state of affairs. But I think that's all I have for this evening. Thank you. Peace.